Hey, KS Services is now running their $59 fall tune-up special. Our team arrives on time and is always professional. Be sure your unit is ready for the cooler temperatures by visiting our website, callks.com today, and schedule your appointment. It's fast and easy. The weather's getting cooler and the days are getting shorter. Don't let the fall weather sneak up on you. Call us today, 205-322-9090, AL certification number 1112.
This is your Weather Extreme video for Saturday, February the 17th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Looks like it's going to stay cloudy and wet for the week ahead. Satellite image this morning showing a good deal of both high clouds and low clouds. You can see the low clouds. They're sort of the dark grays that are below the whiter grays, you might say. The whiter grays, of course, are higher clouds, high cirrus clouds. And all of this thanks to a bit of a stalled frontal system across the southeastern U.S. The stalled frontal system is certainly making forecasting the highs today very difficult as the front moves back to the north a little bit. I think the Tennessee River Valley pretty much stays in the cooler air with highs in the mid and upper 50s, whereas central Alabama will be in the mid and upper 60s, and then the upper 60s across the south part of the state. We have weak ridging occurring with the 500 millibar chart. This is roughly around 20,000 feet. You can see a fairly weak trough over Southern California stretching back into the Pacific, and we have this weak ridging that will be the major feature over Florida and the Bahamas and the eastern Gulf of Mexico for the next week or so. Temperatures across the area vary based on where you are relative to the front. In the 40s across the Tennessee River Valley, in the lower 50s basically in central Alabama, and in the 60s across the south, where you also see there's a good deal of fog. Radar shows very little in the way of rain across Alabama, but we do have a good bit of rain off to the north, and that rain basically forcing the issuance of flash flood watches across there's the green areas across the mid-Mississippi River Valley up towards Lake Michigan. We have fog, the gray areas down across the Gulf Coast and down into Florida. The purples and reds up in New England, those are winter weather advisories. And then we have a hodgepodge of winter weather advisories in the northern Rockies. Rain is pretty much a good bet for the next week or so as we stay in a rather wet pattern. The ridge helping to continue its connection to the moisture in the Pacific. Looking a little bit closer, you can see there'll be quite a range from about around an inch over the Tennessee River counties, River Valley counties, to less than a quarter of an inch over the southeast corner of the state. Good news, though, is it doesn't look like the fronts or the situation is going to produce as much in the way of any severe weather. This is day one. There's just some large areas of thunder forecast for day 2 and again for day 3. All right, the 06 EGFS model run, and there's our ridge basically over the Bahamas or just to the east of the Bahamas. And that ridge is helping to keep the traveling weather systems. We see a pretty good trough up there in Iowa. That trough being pushed to the north thanks to the ridge. And that just basically keeps us kind of in the soup down here because we maintain a connection to the Pacific moisture, and we have a front in the area, so that will have to move on out. It does do that, according to the GFS. By Sunday, we see the ridge beginning to pump back up just a little bit, and that causes the front basically to wash out across the Gulf Coast area, South Alabama and the Gulf Coast area. You can see the moisture, though, still pretty high across southern Alabama, so it's going to be a case where probably not much rain for the northern counties for Sunday, but the rain confined basically to the southern two-thirds of the state. The ridge really pumps up on Monday, the 19th of February, as we see the ridge pumping up in response to that nice deep trough coming in on the western United States, and that just keeps us in southerly moisture, so you can see the GFS suggesting some widely scattered showers. Not much changes on Tuesday, with the pattern staying pretty much the same as the trough begins to come out of the western U.S. That will bring that front down into the middle Mississippi River Valley on Tuesday, and then as that system ejects out across the Great Lakes, pushing against the ridge over and just off the southeast coast of the U.S., it forces that front down into the area. So it looks like probably Wednesday, Thursday time frame is going to be our best chance for rain. And while the situation might warrant some severe weather right now, it doesn't look like it, but we probably need to keep our eye on that. The pattern stays with that ridge over and just off the southeast coast of the U.S. on Thursday. And, of course, the front is now parallel to the upper flow, so it can't really go anywhere, so it stays in our vicinity. That's why I say I think Wednesday and Thursday are going to be our wettest days. The ridge, still the main feature over the southeastern U.S. as it extends from just off the east coast of Florida into the Gulf of Mexico. And once again, we still have the front in the area, so even Friday we're probably going to have cloudy skies with some small chances, on the order of maybe 30-40% chance of showers, maybe a little bit higher than that. The ridge still the feature by next weekend, but we're showing a nice trough beginning to come out of the Four Corners area. And so once again, we have yet another front that's kind of just to our north, and it may be moving down into our area by the end of the weekend. Looking out into Voodoo Country, the GFS is very bullish on this ridge once again. As you can see, that ridge extending up from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up into the Great Lakes area. And this is around the 27th of February. We do show a bit of a change as we get into March. This is the 2nd of March. The GFS pretty much suggesting that we'll have a much deeper trough over the eastern third of the country. But that doesn't last long, because by the 4th, we have yet another ridge right along the Mississippi River. So it's one of those things where the weather just is going to be up and down. But the one good news is it's looking like it's going to be wet, but also mild or warm, with temperatures well above our seasonal averages. That'll do it for the Weather Xtreme video for this morning. I expect to have the next one posted first thing on Sunday morning. In the meantime, you can always check back on the blog for notes on Alabama's weather. Have a great day. Godspeed.
Hey, KS Services is now running their $59 fall tune-up special. The weather's getting cooler and the days are getting shorter. Don't let the fall weather sneak up on you. Call us today, 205-322-9090, AL certification number 11120.